G'day guys, Lemon Eating Cow here, and today I am back with another Final Fantasy 15 update video. Now previously I had released a video saying that Square Enix plan on doing a questionnaire or a survey for what you want to see in the future of Final Fantasy 15. It looks like it's actually available in-game. Now you can only access this if you update your game to 1.10, which should be released worldwide now or possibly in the next 12 hours if you're in a different region. But for me in Australia, we already have patch 1.10. So as you can see, we've got the special menu is highlighted here in yellow. So we're going to go ahead and click on it and see what it takes us to. So it looks like there's a survey there. It says, let us know what content you would like to see added in future updates. However, you can only vote once, so choose wisely. The deadline is end of June 2017. This is... I haven't gone into it yet, but it's kind of concerning. I was hoping that we were going to be able to fill out sections saying what we want to see and kind of give like personal feedback on it. But it looks like we're only going to be able to choose different options, or maybe only one option. But anyway, we'll jump in and we'll take a look. So, select the content you would most like added to Final Fantasy 15. Items that receive many votes may be included in future updates. This is crazy. Okay, alright, I guess they're gonna see what the fans really like. But it looks like we can only vote once. So this is really, yeah, it's gonna be a hard choice. So we've got the choices of story content, Arden's past. We've got story content, Luna Freya's activities, Kor's activities, The Line of Lucius, Ifrit's betrayal, The World of Ruin. I know everyone's been talking about that. Noctis's disappearance, playable character Kor, playable character Aranea, Iris, Luna Freya, Gentiana, playable character Gentiana. Surely she would be just ridiculous because she is Shiva. So anyway, additional mode, hard difficulty, upgrade, improved armor abilities, upgrade, new stat changing magic. So buffs, I guess. I don't know. So many choices, but I think it said you can only make one choice. So yeah. I'm going to go through each of these and kind of talk about my feelings on each of them. Yeah, and then I'll make a decision at the end. So story content, Arden's past. Everyone has been saying, there's been videos all over the place saying, confirmed, DLC confirmed, this is coming out, Arden's past, blah, 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 character expansion. Just going by this, it looks like they have maybe had the idea or the inkling of it, but they had no intentions to fully release it, and it looks like they're getting backing, wanting to seek backing from people. I would assume that a lot of people are going to vote for this one. Arden does have quite a bit of a past with the astrals or the summons, and he is quite old as well, so I could imagine they would have a lot of stuff to draw on. Hopefully they go back into his deep past, and it's not just when he was the was it the Chancellor for the for Niflheim? Or he was, in some regard, he was involved with Niflheim. But yeah, that could be a really interesting one. I love Arden's voice actor. I think his actual character, despite everyone saying he's an amazing villain and all this, I think he's just a joker, really. If you've watched a lot of movies, I think his character's been done plenty of times before. I like his motivations. I like that he's a bit more real. But as far as being the greatest villain ever written, no, I don't think so. But his voice actor is superb, and I really like him. He's also the voice actor of Reinhardt from Overwatch. Story content, Luna Freya's activities. I guess this would be what Luna Freya was doing during the whole story. Like, as far as I know, though, she was just blessing people and basically being the Oracle. I think they kind of told us about that. But maybe it's going to go a little bit deeper into her trying to commune with the astrals or something. Or maybe when she met with Titan as well. Or maybe she communicated with Titan in some regard to get prepared for Noctis's arrival, as well as Roma. So that could be quite interesting. Luna Freya as a character, until I really went back and saw the Leviathan cutscene and Kingslave, I didn't really have much of an opinion of her. I think she could be a good character, and I see why she's very pivotal in the story. I just don't really fully buy the love affair or the love interest between Lunafreya and Noctis. Maybe that's just because I'm a cold-hearted person or something, but I don't know. I don't really get it there. So we could have the story content of Kor's activities. Now we know a little bit about Kor's activities when he meets up with what's his name, Gladiolus, during the DLC episode Gladiolus. He goes into the trial of Gilgamesh to help him out. And it looks like he's an incredibly powerful character, but for a lot of the story, he's just kind of missing, and you don't really know what he's doing. So it could be quite interesting to see what he's doing. I could imagine they would have quite a bit of story for him to go on. Maybe he's doing some behind-the-scene work, or a bit of kind of reconnaissance, or kind of Metal Gear-ish activities behind enemy lines or something, but it'd definitely be fun to play as him. It looks like he has a pretty cool fighting style from what we saw in the DLC. But overall, again, I love his voice actor. I think his voice actor is someone Mercer. I forgot his first name, but he also does McCree. And I've recently seen that he does a voice in Nier Automata as well. He's a fantastic voice actor, so to see more of his voice acting would be great. So story content, the line of Lucius. This was covered a little bit in Kingslave, I guess, with the past kings of Lucius. I suppose this would be quite good if they could also tie it in with the whole thing with Arden, because there is a bit of conflict about who is the true king, and Arden feels like the throne was kind of stolen from him. So at one point, I think there was a single line of the Lucius, and then it kind of split somehow. Yeah, I don't know. This would be quite interesting, especially with the ring, the way they've expanded the powers on it recently, and the Forgotten Kings, or the Kings in the Old Wall. I think there's a lot of content and lore for them to go off on this one, so I think that'd be really cool. But it all depends, like if this story content they're talking about, if it's just going to be a few cutscenes, then I would prefer it to be characters. But if it's going to be a deep lore explanation and materials and audio files and stuff like that, then I would like it to be on some deeper lore things, like the Ring of Lucius or the Line of Lucius would be pretty cool. So another story content choice is Ifrit's betrayal. Excuse me. Now, if you've looked a lot into the lore, which I haven't done myself all that much when it comes to the Astrals or the Aeons or the whatever you want to call them, Ifrit was betrayed, they say, by the other Astrals at some point, and I think you can find... I'm not even going to go into this whole thing about the Astrals, actually. Myself, I'm not fully versed on it, so I don't really want to make too many mistakes and get slaughtered in the comment section. But I will leave a link in the comment section below to the Final Fantasy 15 Reddit, where there is a lot of information on all these different things, and there's a lot of speculation as well. Myself, I don't go for speculation too much. That's not really my thing. But if you wanted to find other YouTubers that do it, I could recommend Final Fantasy Peasant. Personally, not really my taste unless he's doing gameplays. I don't go for much of the speculation. That's purely why. But if you really like that thing and trying to pick different pieces out of the story, then definitely go over there. Also, on the Final Fantasy 15 subreddit, there will be some great information as well. So another story content is the World of Ruin. So this is what the world becomes during the time when Noctis sleeps in the crystal, or whatever he does when he's taken into the crystal. The world becomes consumed by darkness, and the demons start to take over, and Arden kind of holds the throne at that point. So we kind of skip over it a lot, and then once we get back into the world, we head straight into Insomnia, pretty much. We only get a very small glimpse of the world. So it'd be really good to get back into that world and try and have a look around, especially because they've talked about Iris growing up to be quite a badass demon hunter, and Cindy and Aranea, and it'd be really great to see what those people are doing. Again, I would really want a very big amount of content for this one. I think it would need a large amount of content to cover it properly. A couple of cutscenes here and there, like the kind of chapter 13 verse 2, I don't know if it'll do it enough justice, but I would definitely like to see a bit more of the World of Ruin. There has been talk that it's going to be the next expansion, and it's going to be the like season 2 of content, but judging by an email sent to Mr. Happy 1227, they said that they don't have any plans of a huge expansion or a season 2 of DLC, so I doubt it's going to be a standalone DLC. But it could be quite interesting, especially seeing the older characters and that type of development. And I know quite a lot of people are keen for this one, so that could be quite a good one. So story content, Noctis's disappearance. Again, I should have given a spoiler warning. I'll put it at the start of the video anyway. Noctis does get absorbed by the crystal towards the end of the game, and he goes missing for about 10 years. So this maybe is concentrating on what happens when he's inside the crystal. Some people have said that he might be dreaming the whole time. Some people have said that he's trapped in the carnival, which we did the DLC, which is obviously a dream because, well, maybe not too obviously, but he is there with Carbuncle, or your little summon, which usually denotes the fact that he's in a dream. Or possibly he goes off and does some type of crazy astral training in there or something, but it would be definitely interesting to see what happens inside that crystal. And I'm going to say it again, I don't think this would be done justice in a couple of cutscenes. It would really have to have quite an expansive explanation about it, and I really hope they do it justice. So as far as playable characters go, I heard that, well, there was talk in the start of the release cycle of this game that they were going to make Core, Aranea, Iris, and one more person. I don't know. Anyway, they talked about Core, Aranea, and Iris being playable for the multiplayer section of the game, which should be released at the end of the year, or maybe the start of the year, or start of next year, sorry. But maybe they're pushing to have these characters out before the multiplayer. Maybe we could have them in our party or part of an episode. But it seems odd that they would give us such a playable character before they give us access to, say, someone like Gladiolus, who already has a fully fleshed out fighting style from his DLC. So I don't really know where they're going with the direction of this one. I assume that these were already locked in for playable characters, but who knows what Square Enix are thinking these days. As far as these three playable, I would love to see Iris as an older, when she's about, I think, what should be like 24 or something, or 26, by the time that Noctis wakes up from the crystal. I'd love to see her older and a more rough and demon hardened fighting style. I don't think her fighting style at the moment would be all that great unless they kind of worked in a bit of magic or something into it, or gave her a unique weapon style. Maybe she could throw Moogle dolls at all the enemies or something like that. But at the moment, not too much interest in it. Core, really cool fighting style, kind of drawn / samurai style, which is really quite awesome. He would be kind of cool to play, but I feel a little bit cliche almost. So I would definitely be interested in seeing Aranea. Now, we've already had the trick of having her in our party as a permanent member, and she looked like she had some pretty cool moves. And I really like the whole Dragoon lore, and her character design is cool. And they've also said that she's an older woman as well. I think she's like 30 plus as well, which is kind of appealing. But generally, I really like Aranea, so I'd like to see her as a playable character. Now, Luna Freya as a playable character, I don't know how they would make that happen unless they gave her her own episode, but I guess it could work because she does wield the Trident of the Oracle, which we use as a royal arm, so maybe she could be using that, but she could also summon smaller versions of the Astrals as well. Maybe like I think they call them Eggies or Aegis or something like that. Summoners get them in Final Fantasy XIV. Maybe she has smaller versions of them, or she could do certain moves that kind of bring up like an ice blast from like Shiva, or maybe an earth pillar from Titan or something like that. That would be a really, really cool variation on the fighting style. Playable character, Gentiana, I'm not sure of the pronunciation. I don't know about this one because, again, spoiler, she ends up being Shiva. She seems to be a type of messenger of the god, or a harbinger, or a I don't know what they call her in the game. But anyway, she seems to be some type of conduit for the gods, if not a god herself. So I don't know really where they go with this one, unless it's a type of maybe her story where she protects Luna Freya from some type of danger or something. But I really don't know where they'd go with this. But if they had her where she does a lot of ice crystal moves and spike crystal moves, that would be really actually quite wicked. Or if she had big AoE freezes or something really cool like that, would be pretty awesome to see. Now, another feature you can vote for is additional mode hard difficulty. I have mixed opinions about this. I do think a lot of the game is a little bit too easy, and a lot of the things they've implemented lately, like with the buffs to the Ring of the Luci, and a lot of the items from the season pass and the various booster packs and things like that, have very much been angled towards the beginner players. And they've been, so with the weapons and things, they tend to not be endgame weapons. You can use them as endgame weapons, but they seem to be a little bit more situational. So generally it seems like they're pointing things towards beginners and making things easier for beginners, and generally making the game easier. But I don't actually know how they would implement a hard difficulty mode. Sure, they could do a mode where you're not allowed to use items throughout the entire game, kind of like the Costlemark Menace dungeon, but there seems to be a lot of encounters, especially if you've done the Treant Hunt, which is out at the moment for the timed contest. The Treants will, even at level 120, can swipe you and pretty much one-hit you. So I feel sometimes, and then moves aren't telegraphed enough, so I feel sometimes, unless you play incredibly defensively, I think it's just sometimes a little bit too unpredictable, the damage, and I think there would be a lot of unexpected kind of cheap deaths if they did take items away for the entire game. Now, if you've watched any of my live streams, I will admit I'm not the best player at all, and if you have seen any of them, you will totally agree. I don't block enough, I don't dodge enough, but that's because I like to play very, very offensively, and I think it would take away from, if they did do a hard mode, it would kind of hinder offensive players. But I don't know, I just don't feel like they could do a hard mode properly without either making every single enemy have massive amounts of HP and do massive amounts of damage. I just don't feel the battle system is diverse enough or forgiving enough to lend itself to a hard difficulty. If you could dodge and parry, I don't know, if it was more of a Dark Souls type of system, then I could see it working. But the way it is now, I don't see a hard mode working all that well. But if you guys have any ideas about how hard mode difficulty, how you imagine it, then just leave it in the comments and we'll have a bit of a chat about it. So upgrade improved armature abilities. I never really thought, wow, man, I wish armature was more, or it seemed pretty cool to me. The only thing I really wanted was having the sword spinning around you more often, or something like that. But as far as armature goes, I think it serves its purpose. It's kind of a powerful, like a limit break attack. I never really thought this needs to be expanded upon. So yeah, I don't really have many ideas on that. Apart from recently, a lot of people have been doing the armature glitch, where you can fly around as Noctis with this blade spinning around him and explore all different places. If they could give us some type of flight mode with it, or I don't know, maybe let us fly around the battlefield while using it or something like that, it might be a little bit cool. But the battlefield is so restricted anyway, I don't know how that would work. So Generally, I don't know, Armiger for me feels like a good limit break that does a lot of damage, so I don't know if it needs all that much damage or all that much improvements. The only thing I could say, if they did a damage limit break Armiger type of node in the Ascensions grid or some type of accessory, could be kind of cool, but otherwise I really don't have any ideas. Again, just leave suggestions down in the comments and we'll have a bit of a chat about it, because I'm interested to see what you guys think about all this. So another upgrade is new stat changing magic. Generally magic is a bit underused. For me, I use damage limit break magic and just pretty much nuke the crap out of the enemies. Apart from using that, I don't use magic all that much. I don't find it all that useful. But having some new stat changing magic, maybe some haste magic or some type of barrier magic or magic defense magic would be kind of cool, actually. I would hope there's a lot of different materials that you find around the place that are generally pretty useless and a lot of duplicate catalysts. So maybe it'd be good they could change some of those to make them into the different, the new stat changing magics. Or maybe one could buff your strength a lot or your magic a lot. But definitely I'd love to see haste or regen come into it. Would be actually really quite cool. I would hope that they could make it, it seems, maybe this sounds naive or ignorant rather, but I would assume that it wouldn't be a massive change that they'd have to implement, so hopefully they could kind of bring it in with other stuff. The only thing I'm worried about with all of this is that if we only have one vote each, which I haven't, of course I haven't gone through this and finished it yet, I hope that some, like say the magic one, I would like to see it, but at the same time I'm not going to waste an entire vote on it. So I hope some things that look cool but aren't totally worthy of one whole vote, I hope they still get considered. It seems like not the greatest way to do it if we only get one vote and yeah, the rest are kind of wasted. But anyway, I've been talking for way too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on the one that I want to see. So at the moment, it's kind of torn between Arden's Past, the Line of Lucius, World of Ruin, and probably Noctis's Disappearance. The others, yeah, I kind of want them, but again, I don't know how the hard mode would actually be implemented. And for me, I don't know if it's a huge... I would actually say they have to improve the fighting or the fight mechanics to actually make that viable, but that's much just my opinion. But generally, I'd like to see more on, I guess, the World of Ruin. I think they didn't explore that enough at all. I don't know if they have plans to do it, but definitely I think they should explore that more. I'm actually far more interested in that than Arden's Past, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and we'll see if we get more than one vote. So submit your response. You cannot change your response after submission. So yeah, this looks like we only get one vote. I'll give it a shot. Saving settings. Your feedback will help us determine what content to include in future updates. See, I think this is done incredibly poorly. Unless it's going to give us a follow-up to it. No, it doesn't look like it does. There's so many options there, and to have to choose one is, I feel, really a really poor way to do it. Go back into special, but I don't think... Okay, what is it? Thank you for submission. Story content, the World of Ruin. So you can see there, how many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 different choices, and we get the choice of one. I would like to see the World of Ruin stuff done, but I would also like to see playable characters. I would also like to see a hard mode if they could implement it. Also like to see stat changing magic and a few different story contents, but if they could have given us like 3 choices or something, or I don't know, rank these in the order of appeal or something like that. I don't know, I don't think this is the best way to do it, but anyway, I'm sorry for anyone from my last video. I made it sound like this was going to be a extensive questionnaire or survey. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, but I assumed it was going to be similar to the last one, which was done on the website, but this one looks a lot simpler. But anyway, I hope you guys have got a little bit of information out of this one, or at least my feelings on the whole thing. But otherwise, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with all this. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the game goes for the patch 1.10, there has been a new dish in the game, and there's been a few bug fixes, but generally it's a very, very minor patch. I believe the Behemoth jacket is coming on the 30th of May. Now, at the moment, it's just been talked about for Japan. I'm not 100% sure it's going to come to the Western countries, but I cannot see why not. It seems like such a simple thing to implement, so I really can't imagine why it wouldn't be, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's just me talking a lot, but yeah, if you did like this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you got any comments or suggestions, or you want to tell me what you voted for and why, or maybe you want to talk about the hard mode and how it could be implemented, or any of the other things that we went over in this, I'd really like to chat with you guys in the comments and see what you think about all this. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, then please do so. This has been Lemon Eating Cow. Moo!